When it comes down to putting the power down efficiently, every little mod counts. And yes, you want the tires, proper suspension, and a good tune, but even the smallest details like what I'm about to show you plays a huge role. Today, I'll be installing a newly released product from Pride Auto, and the cool thing is that they transferred their tech they designed for the Q platform over to the Z. This is their very own modular trans mount for the Nissan Z. This means you can swap between a solid bushing to a poly bushing, so you now have your choice to go from mild to wild. The poly bushing on the trans mount is going to provide a much firmer feeling car. You'll notice the trans shifting to be more solid and crisp, thus transferring what used to be lost energy to the rear wheels. This is thanks to the stiffer bushing over the OEM, which normally absorbs everything. The solid bushing is going to do everything I explained, but times 2. You can kiss comfort goodbye if you do add the solid bushing, but hey, Pride gives you the option if you ever wanted to go full race mode. So we're gonna go ahead and install it, then I'm gonna give you my initial thoughts towards the end of the video while we do a test drive. The tools needed for the job, you're gonna want to use a 1/2-inch wrench paired with a 14mm deep socket. Another helpful tool is a 1/2-inch extension. If you don't have a 1/2-inch drive, can't get away with a 3/8 set. Again, it's going to be a lot harder. I love to use a bar like this, that way I can put it inside. This extra leverage that you get from putting the wrench inside the pole, you can apply a lot more torque to the bolt that you're trying to break loose or tighten. Another helpful tool is an electric ratchet. That way you can loosen and fasten things a lot quicker. And a specialty tool is a torque wrench. If you don't have one of these, I would recommend you purchase one. I'll leave links in the description for your tools. That way you can go ahead and purchase if you like. I think every job is possible as long as you have the right tools. On a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being very easy, 5 being extremely hard, I would say about a 2. So let's get into it. So we're gonna start by lifting up the vehicle. I would recommend to lift up the car equally and put it on 4 jack stands. I'm gonna attempt to do this just by lifting the back, so I would not do as I do, but just do as I say. Okay, so we're trying to get to that part up there. Ew, trash bag melted onto my beautiful titanium white pipe. This brace here, this cross member here, we're gonna loosen to drop it. In order to do that, we wanna support the transmission so it doesn't move from its location. So you wanna get a jack and with a 2x4 and just lightly pumping it, pump it up so that you can support the transmission and it doesn't have to come down. Be careful, the transmission pan now is composite. It's not metal like the Q50 one, so you don't want to crack it. So now what you want to do is unfasten the actual trans mount, which is going to be right here and the one over here on this side. Loosen those first and then loosen the outboard ones, which is these two and those two. Right, those two loose. Now we're gonna do the cross member. So now with those bolts loose, we're gonna go ahead and run them out. Now I'm gonna loosen these indefinitely. So now we have the trans mount exposed. We can remove it from the transmission. It's also going to be 2 14mm bolts going forward. Bada bing, bada boom. So now I'm going to demonstrate the difference between the factory rubber bushing, which is made for comfort, versus the aftermarket Pride Auto poly bushing, which will provide a little more performance. As you can see, the factory one moves pretty free. It's not that hard to move this. For the poly, everything is stiff. Yeah, I could barely even move that. This was the Q50 one. Yeah, it's way too new for me to even be able to move it. But with the load of the car, the weight and the transmission, it's gonna be able to flex a little more. You guys know that I'm always doing giveaways, so I want to go ahead and give away this OG brace for the Q50 and Q60. The bolts are a little oxidized, but that's not going to take away from the integrity of the brace itself. Now, this bushing in here is brand spanking new. I just replaced it and I torqued it to spec up here, and I put some Loctite, so that's not gonna back out. Now, in order to enter the win, all you have to do is like this video and put a fire emoji in the comment section, and I will pick a winner and announce it here and on Instagram. So good luck. All right, so let's see how much the factory 9-speed trans mount weighs. 2 pounds, 14 ounces. I would say it weighs a little more than 1 pound over the factory. And you feel it. Oh yeah, big difference. 1 pound. Now you do have the option to go with the poly mount versus the solid bushing. I always prefer to use a poly because it's best of both worlds. You don't get as much NVH as this. This bushing, at first you'll feel quite a bit of NVH, but after a while it'll break in. This is a little more forgiving. So if you want a little more performance, but you also don't want to sacrifice your ride comfort, go with the poly. The torque spec for all the bolts is going to be about 36, 37 foot-pounds. So go ahead and torque it. Now you're going to go ahead and install this in reverse order. Hopefully the outer bands of the tropical storm passing by does not hit us, and that way I can go outside and give it a test. So let's go ahead and get this on the car. All right, so now it is installed. I will say it wasn't very difficult at all. This is pretty much one of those easy installs that only going to need a certain amount of tools, which most people have. So let's get in the car, take it for a spin, and see what the initial NVH is like in the vehicle. Initial cold start with the Pride Auto trans mount. I don't feel any NVH. I think the NVH is just mainly from my exhaust. I don't feel any added vibrations right now, even on cold start, so I was surprised with that one. I just put it into gear right now in reverse. I do feel a little more vibration coming through my seat. We already know that there's gonna be added NVH because of the mount. Obviously it's gonna be more apparent the first couple weeks until that bushing breaks in. I hear more of a whining noise right now. Oh yeah, I hear more whining noise now. The noise, you hear more like a whining sound. There is a little more vibration. Yeah, there's a tick up in harshness as well, so. Switching to manual right now. Yeah, you definitely feel it. If you're looking for comfort, initially, it's not there. You hear that whining noise more when you're slowing down and taking off as well. So you definitely feel a little more vibration that wasn't there before. I'm hoping that that is gonna subside drastically. I know the Q50 one was also like that, and it got to the point where you didn't really feel a difference. The only thing you noticed was, much firmer shifts. But with this one, I feel a little more vibration than I did with the Q50. I can't imagine what the solid bushing would do. If you're looking to get the most out of your mount, obviously you'll put the solid bushing, but that's not something that I'm looking forward to doing. I do want to push the boundaries of this car, but I want to retain some of the comfort as well. I'm not ready to make this car a full race car just yet. But idling right now in drive, I don't feel any difference idling right now. As you start moving, you feel some grinding noises. I don't want to push this car until we get some good gas in here, so once I put good gas, we're gonna go ahead and push this trans mount to see how the gears feel when you're shifting. Oh yeah, I feel feel some more vibrations coming through the steering wheel, the seat. Woo. Oh, there's a lot of vibration right now. Hopefully that kind of goes away soon. Creeping up in the RPM. So much more. There's a lot of vibration right there. Not sure if you can pick it up through the camera. It feels like my wheel's out of balance. The shifts feel so much better though. Oh yeah, the shifts feel so much better. Downshift crisp. Yep. The only downside is that there's a lot of vibration right now. There's not that much noise, it's just vibration. And that's one of those things that we have to see if you know, give it, let's say 2 weeks worth of driving and hope that that bushing kind of breaks in a little bit, because it's vibrating a lot. The Q51 didn't feel like this. Let's hope it breaks in a little better, but I'm really excited because now the shifts feel a little more crisp. There's no loss of energy now when shifting, so more of that power is getting put to the ground. I can't really hear the noise because of my exhaust is just way too loud, and I'm sure there's a little bit of winding and grinding noises coming through. I mean, there has to be, with the stiffness of this bushing right now at this moment. I'm pretty sure there is some noise coming through. So on a scale from 1 to 10, let's separate it. N for noise. Noise, I will say it's maybe a 4 on the scale, 1 to 10. Again, it's being droned out by my exhaust, so I can't really tell. V, vibration. On a scale 1 to 10, it's a 10. I would say no, it's like an 8. I'm sure if there was a solid bushing in there, it's gonna be a 10. So vibration right now is an 8. I expect it to drop down to maybe a 4 once it's broken in. Harshness, I will say it's about a 6 to 8. Let's just put it at an 8 as well. It does feel a little more harsher right now in certain RPMs and gears. I think that correlates with vibration. So once vibration drops down, I think the harshness is gonna go away with it. Is this worth it? Is it worth losing the comfort for having firmer shifts? I think so. Right now, I will be honest, it feels, most people are gonna say, to the hell with this and take it off, and not give it the appropriate time for that bushing to break in. Most people normally want to take it off because it destroys comfort. And right now, the comfort is hindered. But just give it some time. I will give you an update once I put some miles on this car, and I'll let you know whether or not it broke in. As always, stay locked into my channel. Peace. There's a Nismo Juke in that dealership.